Got me wishing on her. She be like, nice coat, white coke. How you live with that smoke? Hop in, jock in. I'm just kidding, I'm broke. Did a lot, I've been waiting for the day I don't get my pay. Check will make me happy instead of me getting laid. Never done in the middle with a gun. Put a hole in his chest with a torso don't fall right. In the sun, but until the desert does, we don't have no fun till we chillin' at my graveside. I'll be wishing I'm dead, missing my friends, get me out of my head. Letters I send, I'll be wishing I'm dead. I'll be wishing I'm dead, missing my friends, get me out of my head. Letters I send, I'll be wishing I'm dead.
Oh, I like that. Damn it.
Yeah, it's a good vibe.
It's not stealing. Someone posts it free will, then it's my free will to take it.
Want to give the viewing public background on that?
Oh, basically, was it like about war profiteering? So
That's always
which I feel like all we've been talking about recently in the military, but
yeah. I know that behind the scenes you wanted to avoid being pigeonholed into that, but everybody wanted to hassle you for your opinions on it.
I mean, it's like everything on YouTube. The time to buy those companies was like a few months ago, and then everyone asks you if they should buy them after they already went up, and I'm like, okay, I didn't predict Israel, but I was in the right place, and the valuations were there beforehand. So,
oh yeah.
But could still be a good deal. I think they're closer to fair value, some of these military companies now, than they were before.
Mhm.
I don't think any of them are, to say over. I mean, no, not really.
I was gonna say not overpriced. Yeah, I did.
All the big military players are like 15 to 18 PE right now, I think. So that's historically about right. Sounds good. So I saw a few videos online. Who is it? One YouTuber did a military video, and the black-haired guy with glasses. I can't remember his name, but he's like a lot of the high-growing military, the small speculative plays you can make in the military are private companies.
Yeah.
So it's like it is really though, especially in drones. A lot of the ones you'll find one, you're like, oh, that's really cool, and then you're looking, no, it's private. So it's not where I like to speculate. Speculating in military, I just kind of chuckle at. It's probably tough. But
yeah.
We got who we got here. Foo Hat. Jesus Christ, Foo Hat.
Yeah.
For real. Damn. Go. Yeah, sure. Michael, we got Slurpees, Dex.
Yes. Yeah.
Dance on two. For the I haven't bought the sub companies. I said that. So just to make a point. If you follow Sense or what's it called now? I don't even know what the hell it's called. But
yeah.
I don't think there's any immediacy to buying those. So it's more of an interest at this point.
Yeah.
Anyways, so before we so for people watching, my video I just released yesterday, the 20-year-old checklist, got copyright struck, or I don't know what they call it, copyright notice. So I think it's someone put a manual claim in. So I just wanted to briefly show like what video because they send you what the person is, so you know what the video is. They're saying that you like stole their material. So this guy. So apparently, like, I don't know if it's the music or the background, because the background's the same as my outro was, which is just I got it from Canva or Clipchamps. It's stock footage. It's literally stock footage. So I couldn't have stole it. And then I thought he was saying I stole his music. So then I go to it, and well, I'll play a little bit for you people. So I stole his music or backgrounds. I don't know. He's coming after me. Listen. Look at that guy. Look at that. I am terrified of that baby face, man. It's coming for my livelihood. All right. We're gonna fight on these phones. Oh, it's so catchy. But it's like right away. I mean, like an hour after I posted, they hit me with this copyright claim. I'm like, what the hell? Like, so I don't know. It's not like I'm not monetized yet. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna fight it because I'm curious how this is gonna work. So I sent like the details of the music. If I have to, I didn't even explain the background. I'm like, yeah. But this will be a fun learning experience, I guess.
Oh yeah, for everyone involved. It's 100K subscriber goal. Get you to sing that on a live.
No. I'm not making fun of the language. It's
No.
I don't know what language. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's
not
just
the
so
language.
Malaysian.
Random.
That could be like Malaysian hip hop. I don't know. Like more power to that guy, I guess.
Oh
yeah. So I was like, the other one I got was Lord of the Rings, which I'm like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that was.
They got me. I wasn't that surprised.
Yep. But
for people watching, yeah, if you make videos, don't mess with Marvel, don't mess with Star Wars, don't mess with Lord of the Rings. They will come for you immediately.
Oh yeah.
You cannot. Lord of the Rings, man, they immediately strike you. The videos and remove the video too. So,
just hire an artist. Hire an artist and talk if you really want to.
I know. I like freaking paid for music too, non-royalty music. So
yeah.
Anyways,
alrighty, let's go.
Anything? I guess we get right into it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything to say?
No. Good to be on. Glad to be on, and I hope I'm pretty sure that this is going to be really good as far as value add.
I'm in the middle of audit season, so I don't even know if I can do one a week at this point. Audit season's really busy for me in the fall. I have 3 to approve right now. One of them has a problem. I had to do research. Actually, I had to talk to legal. It's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Dealt with the definition of what housing is. So it's something you could do as an aspiring government accountant.
Yeah.
You can fight over the definition of housing as far as grants with nonprofits.
Definitions.
And all the viewers are gone now. So, first story. I'm not really into the idea of individual stock videos, so it'll be in live stream format most likely.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you price targets. You figure it out, people. This was interesting because I've owned AGCO for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Someone brought it up. Like I'm not well aware of everything during the week. Sometimes I don't fully pay attention. I have a job, so
yeah.
This was interesting because I've owned them it's newer for me. It's like a year and a half, maybe 2-year investment.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty new. I like the idea of the agricultural revolution, I guess you could call it. I think I've talked about this before. Decreasing population of working class people, and then population in general is getting older. So it's like farming's going to have to get more technologically advanced and innovate because they're just not going to have the people that they used to. And labor laws are changing, so farm rates are going away. I think at some point, to some degree, where you don't have to pay overtime and you pay a reduced salary to farm workers. That's changing, especially like in my state, it's changing.
Mm-hmm.
So farm labor is going to get more expensive. Food demands are going to go up. Population is getting older. So, and to invest in commodity companies like that actually produce the product, I think has its own problems.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like commoditized businesses for the most part. So I had this, to make a long story short, and they were selling tractors. They had their own precision agriculture business as part of them. AGCO did, where they sold you the GPS systems that would allow you to track where you were in the field, so you'd be more efficient, so forth. Or you could have a less experienced person doing the field, so stuff like that. But now they did this joint venture.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very interesting.
Oh yes.
It doesn't make me want to sell. It makes me think about buying more. I haven't bought more in a while. So the idea is that Trimble has its own precision farm agricultural business,
Mhm.
and AGCO had their own business. So now they're like, hey, why don't we just merge our assets into a joint venture where we both have an ownership stake, and then we will both create tendies. If it
Yes.
was Tyson food, but it's probably wheat more.
Yeah.
The chicken sandwich, the bread part, but yeah. So it's a joint venture, so it's not entirely. It's kind of weird. AGCO's not buying per se Trimble's this one unit of Trimble and bringing it
Mhm.
in. They're creating a joint venture.
Yeah.
Trimble's going to get 15% of it.
Mhm.
So Trimble's going to get 15% of the joint venture. Let's see. I have the PowerPoint if I can find it. I have so many tabs open right now.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
I believe.
will I find it? Here it is. Whew. We're going to get there. Okay, so Trimble is going to. Is it showing up?
No, it's not. It's still showing the
Oh,
AGCO
hold one
investor
second.
relations. Yep.
Present. Hold on. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. There we go. Beautiful.
Look at this. Wow,
Yes.
that's huge. Okay. So Trimble is going to still have 15% ownership. AGCO is going to have 85. It's going to fall under AGCO, so it's not going to be a different ticker symbol.
Mhm.
So you can see the assets. Trimble is selling their the displays, the steering. They have these motorized steering. You basically replace the steering wheel with their steering motor, and it'll automatically steer based on the software that's on the display.
Mhm.
Controllers, they have their own GPS systems and software.
Oh, yeah.
So that is what AGCO is bringing in. And what I did notice, some of the like things I read, AGCO was paying like 3 different companies basically to provide the same software application that Trimble has in their house. So that could be a efficiency, part of increasing their efficiencies and margins. So they're bringing in a solution that they were paying 3 people for. Now that's going to be in house.
Mhm.
I guess they're paying $2 billion for this merger. The enterprise value is something in the realm of 2.324 billion is what they're
Mhm.
saying. So it's kind of interesting. So the idea is you're creating this solution. So Trimble and AGCO, I listened to some of their calls about this. They both did calls about this
Yeah.
merger. So AGCO and Trimble both have kind of the same mission. They want to be a farming solution for all farmers.
Mhm.
So they don't just want to be like John Deere, where John Deere's like, we sell you John Deere tractors. We put John Deere software in your John Deere tractor that mounts to your John Deere trailer, and none of it's compatible with anybody else. You
Yeah.
can't fix your own shit. So all you get to do is use the privilege of using our John Deere stuff. But Trimble and AGCO's idea is we want to be the solution for all farmers. So they want to create a product that you can use for any farming equipment. So they
Mhm.
bring in this Trimble software. So AGCO's like, okay, you can come and we'll sell you our tractors, and then we can put our Trimble software on it at the dealership. Or you can bring in your non-AGCO or AGCO tractors, and we'll put Trimble software on it too. And it's at a 30% margin. The tractor business, they're give or take about a 10% margin at this
Mhm.
point. So it's a higher margin business with subscriptions if they can get this to work.
Yeah.
So now they're increasing their subscription revenue, or like recurring revenue. They're entering a higher margin space. So now they can sell you a tractor with a precision agriculture product in it already. And then you could bring your old tractors if you like it. Maybe you have old tractors that aren't AGCO, and they'll put the same software on it. So Trimble is compatible with everything.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so this is kind of intriguing to me. It doesn't really change the overall narrative of why I like the agriculture play.
Mhm.
Um, does it? It's debatable though if it's better for AGCO. I guess it's like with any merger or acquisition, like they're
Mhm.
telling us this story, and we're going to see if it plays out
Yeah. Yeah.
once this happens. Uh,
I I like based off of my own digging, I saw the CEO for AGCO show up on Yahoo Finance, and it seems like they're taking it nice and slow. They just want to see that they maintain their margins, have reasonable-ish growth, but they're not like projecting too much outside of just margins. Uh, it seems like that they were really focused on just trying to keep things disciplined and make sure that everything just works the way it's supposed to, and the growth and all the other details will get fleshed out as time goes by. It was like, and the interview I think happened like 2 weeks ago. What fascinates me about the space though is that we have the hard and software, but really specifically the software, as you mentioned, focus for precision agriculture. And for those that don't know, what made me excited about this was leading up to like right around the war of Ukraine. I thought to myself, oh no, you know, wheat and grains are going to be really expensive, because supplies getting taken offline. But if you're aware of the technology, the software and the hardware, there's so many different cameras and drones where things can, and or recognition software is so good, it works on weeds, it works on crop diseases and whatnot. And it's not that crazy complicated to then go and say, okay, well, that means we can reduce fertilizer costs by specifically targeting, rather than having, say, a crop duster fly over a gigantic field
Hmm.
with all these pesticides. So that was like, because my mind was thinking, oh, I could maybe play with fertilizer refiners, this, and then the more you do some digging, the more you realize, oh, developments are happening everywhere, and this just so happens gives a clear timeline that
Hmm.
it's real and it's being rolled out. Sorry
Yeah.
for rambling there.
No, that's fine. So here's Trimble's. So here's the Trimble side.
Yeah.
Their last quarter. So they're basically buying this segment of Trimble's business, not all of it, but
Hmm.
most of this. Their resource utilities section. The geospatial, which is like the GPS software, is still Trimble's. They have a arrangement as part of this joint venture to sell that to AGCO, like for a certain amount of time, then they can renew it apparently.
Hmm.
So I think they left themselves a way that if this doesn't work, they could split off. Trimble could like move on from this deal. I think so. They kind of left themselves an exit.
Yeah.
I don't think AGCO has an exit like Trimble does in this. Um, but you can see here's that the margins for this business 30%. So that's what they were saying. It's around a 30% margin this business.
Hmm.
Um, so back to yeah. So they did a whole presentation and they did a phone call for the merger too.
Yep.
So here's their estimated revenue as the combined entity. So like I said, this joint venture is going to be under AGCO. It's not a separate entity.
Hmm.
Um, so you can look through this. That's the idea. I'm I don't know if I'm gonna buy more. Um, I'm gonna think about it. It did drop. What is it down to? AGCO. It got down to like 110.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say, I think the market was a little surprised by the dollar amount.
I like my cost basis is like 90s. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to raise my cost basis.
Yeah.
But it's interesting play.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, for sure.
I have John Deere still. It's one of my last holdings still. So I don't know. I feel like I want to pick a side. That's what I want to think of. AGCO versus John Deere. Because they're basically going head to head. One's
Hmm.
going this way, one's going this way in the world, right?
Yeah.
So I might just sell one side and just go all in on like, take my John Deere money, put in AGCO. Um,
Yeah. It's
how do the
it's
Star Wars YouTubers get around it? Yeah, for
the
real.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the neat part. They don't.
I think they don't. Yeah, I think they have to fight all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Um, they probably get demonetized constantly.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh,
Attendance.
just emotes is my guess. Yeah.
I don't know if this is the way to play ag commodity. Oh, I wouldn't play the commodities of agriculture, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. They're
I don't like
cyclical.
commoditized businesses because there's
Yeah.
no pricing power, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Wheat is
Yeah.
wheat from anywhere. So I'd rather be on the side where there is like maybe some sort of proprietary technology on the other side of it. I've always liked the machinery side of things,
Yeah.
like Caterpillar over like a mining company or something.
Mhm.
Um, it's important for equipment to have for 24 hours use. We sell equipment to lots of equipment rental companies, and they like to mix and match. Yeah, that's what. So this is the part I don't know. So like,
Mhm.
so I've talked about what we know.
Yeah.
Like, what's the unknowns? I don't know. I don't know farmers. I'm a suburban kid. I live near a city. I don't know if farmers care. Right? That's the part. Do farmers give a shit? Are farmers fixated on one brand? Do they just stick with one brand their whole lives, like
Mm.
with like truck people, or is it what Kale is saying here? Do they have just a mishmash of equipment, whatever they can get their hands on that doesn't break and is like the cheapest thing at the time? Like I don't know per se what the
Yeah.
farmers think, but AGCO gives them options John Deere doesn't in this
Yes.
deal. So AGCO's vision, the CEO was talking about it, is like a company for all farmers
Mhm.
was their idea with this merger. So they can provide, so you don't even have to have an AGCO truck. They have software and services that they can help you with if you have any other types of farming equipment. So that's their vision. So I don't know if people have brand loyalty to John Deere. Like John Deere is like, think of Harley, right?
Yeah.
Harleys are not motorcycles. Harleys are Harleys. And I used to ride a bike. So there's like every other bike in the world, and there's a Harley. Like there's a few, or no, I should say there are a few, like Gold Wings are kind of the similar idea. Like there's
Mhm.
clubs specific to Harley and Gold Wings. And you go to Harley shops to get them fixed. If you want to join those clubs, you have to own a Harley. It's like John Deere, same thing. That's them. You get a John Deere, and that's it.
If
They only begrudgingly let you fix them recently because there
Oh,
was the
yeah.
issue with
Yep.
Congress with right to repair,
Yeah.
because farmers had enough that they couldn't actually repair their own John Deere equipment without going to John Deere itself.
Mhm.
So this is kind of the other side of farming, where it's like this is a company that would embrace the hatred of John Deere for that.
I I think that there is a good value prop with this joint venture, and that is like, if with their software, if they're able to monitor say like pesticide usage, and say, oh well, like before farmers would use on average, like, I don't know, even if it was like 15% or like 5% more, if you're able to like compare the subscription costs to the savings, uh, farmers will can easily do math. I'm pretty confident on that regard.
So
And
this is a interesting channel I found recently. Someone gave it to me.
ooh,
Who gave it to me? Was it Grieva's? Somebody gave it to me. Barn Talk. So these are like modern farmers, and they talk about like the issues with farming. And there was this one clip. I don't think the sound's gonna work, but can you hear it?
sadly no, no, but luckily it is subtitled.
Hold on, okay.
Oh, okay, so there's a little bit of brand loyalty. I mean, the good thing though is that they did mention though that there's different types of hardware though.
Did you hear what he said? He said he's noticed a lot of people recently. He's seen a lot of Fendt or tractors.
Hmm.
Fendt is AGCO.
Oh,
So he said he has seen an uptick in
yeah.
Fendt tractors in his area where they were not before.
Hmm.
But then he also talked about a lot of farmers don't have brand loyalty. They have a mishmash of equipment in some of the clips I found. So that would help the case for AGCO, I guess. But we don't know. This is the great unknown with a bunch of city bumpkins trying to figure this out. But like I'm more interested in the narrative I had like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
This is kind of interesting on top of that.
Mhm.
So we'll see. Um, but yeah, technology is coming to farming, whether they like it or not. But I think this will. I think they're more tech savvy
Oh
farmers
yeah. Yeah.
than people would think,
Yeah. I
like the
think so
younger
too.
farmers.
I think
Um,
so too.
and if you can sell them on this, making them bigger, stronger, faster, the technology. So a big part of this would be the franchise, the dealerships. They
Hmm.
got to sell this, right? They have
Yeah.
to explain why this matters to the farmer,
Mhm.
to have this precision agricultural technology. So just to give someone an idea. So this is like what we're talking about. The type of stuff that AGCO's getting. This is Trimble's one of their display units. So you can kind of see how it's got the lines in there
Yep.
programmed for where the tractor's going to go. So, and then you would pair this with, so this is another one. So this Trimble, this is a steering wheel that goes along with the system. So you take the steering wheel off the tractor and put this as a motorized steering wheel, and it will, you see it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Automatically.
And this is a 30% margin business. That. And then
Oh, yeah.
the tractor is like a 10%.
Like definitely margin improvement, but it's
Yeah.
not like margin
I mean, but they're
improvement to the
paying
point
2
where
billion, so
yeah.
it does, you know,
Mhm.
more revenue, maybe some better margins. You're paying, is the $2 billion worth it?
Yeah.
Same for anything,
Mhm.
any merger.
Oh, no, 404 error code.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
So being able to use different brands is good if someone makes a better product.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. No, jeez.
No comments. Regardless, if you don't invest in the commodity, the sales equipment depend on the commodity production. So if commodity sales US fall, it's because China shifts their imports.
Mm.
Maybe.
I'm speaking from ignorance as far as like what the components are, but
I mean,
it's
these companies don't do business in China per se.
yeah.
But I mean, we're an exporter of grain to China, not the other way around.
Yeah.
And then hopefully someday Ukraine can get back on the horse, which AGCO is in Europe already established.
I'm not sure about Slurpee's most recent comment on Brazil out competing.
I mean, and then the other point he made, yeah, like they buy a lot of this equipment on credit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So as interest rates are higher, they might put off buying a new tractor because these tractors they last long time, most of them. And maybe they don't want to expand their operations because it's a different cost consideration for now.
Yeah.
So yeah. No investment is without its risks.
Oh, for sure. There's multiple forces moving around.
With AGCO though, what's nice is the narrative is they're in Europe and they're trying to push into the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And then John Deere's trying to go the opposite. And they both are talking about Latin America, which kind of makes me, because they both admit it's a tough business in Latin America, selling tractors. The margins go down. Both of them mentioned that. So. Yeah, and they do have plans to go into Latin America, but apparently they don't like to spend a lot of money on tractors down there. But I like it's not one of my favorite investments. Something smaller. I don't like it as much as the military idea, but yeah, I want to be in this business basically, right?
Yeah,
I want to be in the farming business.
I mean, you already have like a position or two in the general space for sure. So it's definitely good to know the moving parts and what's at play here. So it makes sense. It makes sense for sure.
Yeah.
I'd say going forward, like, and you already know this, like, all right, so we have, better improved margins and in theory, what should be smoother cash flows. So let's see how the pre-existing stuff mesh with the new stuff. We should be seeing a change of sorts, and it makes sense. Next topic.
Someone said consumers. Oh my God, so much consumer staples.
Yeah, all the consumer staples.
All of them.
All of them.
It's just, I don't know. Like I was just looking at like this. You can see them starting to drop. Here's this year, their PE ratios. So they're all getting clobbered.
Oh yeah.
So it's just, I looked at like Hershey's quickly and Pepsi and Coke and Mondelez, and it's kind of the confluence of a bunch of stuff. It's Americans are not spending as much discretionary at the stores. So there's that risk. There's also the commodity prices of the staples companies are going up. Most of them have said So buying their commoditized, their commodities to make their products, that's getting more expensive for them. So they're getting kind of hit on both sides there. A lot of them have a lot of debt. Interest rates are up. They're going to have to refinance at some point. So it's kind of this confluence of a whole bunch of things. And then it's confusing the markets and people because they're like, wait, these companies are supposed to do well in recessionary times, right? Consumer staple companies, but yet they're not. So but it's like, well, we're not in a recessionary time, first of all. And this is kind of an odd with the inflation. These companies did very well last year, a lot of them.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Which, interest rates were raising. The consumer staples were doing well. And now it's kind of like they're coming back to earth. Some of them also have to deal with theft issues like Target.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I know it's not in this list, but like Home Depot, Lowe's are dealing with theft. Also, it's not so much a concern for some of these, but I don't know. Are you interested in any consumer staple companies at this point?
Not fully myself, but like I've kept an eye on some of these things here and there. Slippery's mentions Hershey's as something on their radar. I happen to agree, it is on my radar, but nothing quite there yet for me.
I mean, the only one I own is Pepsi.
Yeah.
Which, if I could toot my horn on that, where is it?
Good old PepsiCo.
God damn.
Oh,
I put it somewhere.
didn't make it, or
this is the worst. I'm the worst YouTuber ever.
well, I mean, no, you're just in your efforts to be thorough.
I have so many tabs.
Yes.
But I mean, they crushed their earnings,
Mhm.
honestly, because everyone was expecting them to miss, and they outperformed. And this was a week ago. So I don't know. Is this overblown? But I don't know. Pepsi is unique though in some ways because the way they can handle these issues. I don't know if every company is able to do the same things as them. They've talked about they've reduced the volume that they're selling, but they've been able to increase prices to get through these times. And they're same issues as all the others. They're commoditized ingredients have gone up in price as they buy out into the future. But I think they have ways of dealing with it. I'm not really that concerned. Then there's other factors like Hershey's getting hit with, I think Hershey's was at a higher valuation, a very rich valuation, low growth. They haven't really, no interesting acquisitions at any time. Their growth, 4% maybe. Then Mr. Beast story came out about festivals. Ozempic comes talking about reducing, consumption of sugar. So sugar commodities are getting more expensive. So Hershey's is just getting all these things just freaking coming at Hershey's right now. Like if someone weren't in any of these, I don't know, that one's kind of intriguing to some degree, I would think at this point.
Yeah.
Hershey's is part of Americana to me. It's like McDonald's. It's one of those just companies. It's just here. And I see a lot of dividend YouTubers and a lot of dividend talk about it. Of all these, that's the one by far with the most chatter recently, watching its drop. And it's always had a rich valuation. So to say, 21, it should be 12, 14, 16. I mean, it's usually been some sort of 20 to 35 PE ratio. So it's been a very richly valued company. That one's interesting to me because some of these problems they're having, if interest rates start going down, you would assume some of this might just fix itself. I don't know. I don't want to buy Coke because I have Pepsi. Like I've always I don't like to own both sides of something. Like I'll just pick a side. So I'm on the Pepsi side. If someone were to come in now, I don't know, it'd be a different consideration. But like of these, I would probably think Hershey's would be the one I would think of first. So what do you think? Or you are not really?
Yeah. I was gonna say not really. Like the one particular nuance with Hershey's though was CEO seems great. She seems like she knows what she's doing. It's just that I don't like it when CEOs are also chair of the board. Maybe that's a me problem.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But
No,
yeah, she is.
I don't like that either.
That being said, though, like we all know Hershey's. I think most of us know Hershey's, though. Like the family trust still has such a large percentage ownership that
I
doesn't
want to
really
call out.
matter. Eh,
Yeah. So here's XLP, which is Consumer Staples Sector State Streets Fund for the
yeah,
consumer staples. So I'm looking at it. So here's this guy. He says sell. Okay. So
yeah.
look at this guy. Look where he wrote the article.
Oh
My
boy,
man
oh boy,
freaking nailed it. That guy nailed it.
boy,
So I
oh
subscribed to him,
boy.
but literally he timed exactly before it started dropping. The consumer staple sector. Like that's impressive. I will give him props. So his name is Paul Frankie. So props to Mr. Frankie. So he
Very
did it.
nice.
He's reached the mountaintop of cannabis.
Just
I don't know what
never
else to
predict
say.
again. Never predict again.
Oh, look. Here's another.
Oh,
Coke is
oh,
approaching his buy zone. I guess I better buy it. So forget
oh.
what I said.
Well, okay, never mind. I mean,
We make fun of analysts when they screw up. I'm like, well,
yeah,
he got it right. So
yeah.
he and his article literally, are staples too expensive versus high interest rates? And he's yes it yes it is.
I just want to like make a random prediction about like macro or something just right once, and then I'm just never making another prediction again.
Now Dex has a good comment here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a perfect storm for Hershey's like FUD right now.
Hmm.
Like I don't know if you could add another bad story on Hershey's right now. I mean, it's just they're getting just hit on, competitor, commodities going up, some drugs going to make sugar and candies irrelevant. It's like, my God, like the only thing left would be like if Congress wanted to do a sugar tax or some crap. like what else? How much more?
What
So
else can be done? Yeah.
I'd buy Coke, even if you have Pepsi. Maybe you like their snacks and stuff, but when you go to the bar, you go into Jack and Pepsi. There's room for two. Yeah, true. I
Eh,
mean, Coke's intriguing at this price point, and it gives you also they also distribute Monster,
yeah.
so you're getting Coke's business, and you're getting not necessarily you're getting like part of the Monster business, kind
Hmm.
of.
Kind of.
So
Yeah.
they do the distributions for them.
Hmm.
That makes it intriguing more when looking at that. You're like, oh, okay, that's a different wrinkle then.
Oh yeah.
But I like Pepsi I like that they have the food business myself.
Oh, yep. No, I'd say like but even if a person were to say only one or both around these prices, I wouldn't hate the decision. Even if someone like forced on my behalf to with my own money, I would be like, you could have done way worse.
Oh, they actually own I thought they just did the distribution. They physically own a piece.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Well, at
okay.
least
I'm wrong.
I don't know if that percentage is still current, but
Because
yeah, like
I
those.
knew like Altria owned a chunk of Bud of
Mhm,
InBev, so I wasn't sure if it was the same arrangement. Okay,
yeah, yeah,
they restrain too. Oh,
yep.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yes, I
these.
mean, so it's yeah. So Coke gives you that pure play into beverages and some pretty good energy drink businesses. Pepsi, you got all the snack business and food business, and I think they
Mhm,
have better tools to deal with these times than
yep.
some of those other staple businesses. But um, I guess you'd have to factor all these risks we talked about, and if you think they will be resolved.
Yeah.
Some of this stuff might be with us for 2 or 3 years. Um, like, is this the bottom of the? Is this the bottom for staple companies? I
Mm,
don't know.
yeah.
Um, it's not my most interesting investment ideas right
Mhm,
now. So, okay, are you going to buy consumer staples or AGCO? Decide right now.
oh dear God.
You
I
can't
haven't
take
done
it
enough
back.
DD.
No, it's
Uh,
fine.
yeah. I haven't done enough DD. Yeah, that's a me problem. But
So, and then this came out this week where
mm,
everyone's expecting doom and gloom, and then Americans still like to spend money. People,
yeah,
we are not in a recession. This is the thing that kills me. I hear people talk recession, recessionary times, doom and gloom. Like, we are not in a recession. Like,
yeah,
you're all scared it's coming, but we're not there. People are spending money.
Mhm.
Like, it's not coming down. This whole narrative of people are hiding in caves and not spending money and trying to hoard what they can and barely survive. Like, don't believe it all. Like, you have to look at, like, consumer spending's up, and they were thinking it was going to be, I think, 0.3 up, and it was 0.7 for the month.
Yeah.
So, yeehaw. So, here, I showed you not the CNBC page on it. This is the real report. Did you know this comes from the Census Bureau?
Uh, I knew that the Census Bureau did do some macro numbers.
I knew it didn't
Just
come from the Department of Labor. I knew
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So, because I know we don't put this out. Um, so here's another one, Mondelez. I don't know a
Mhm,
lot about this business. I'd be intrigued to look at it possibly.
mhm,
They've gotten beat up pretty good too.
yeah,
But I don't know anything about Mondelez, so I'll leave it there.
yeah.
So like here's the transcripts of Pepsi's call, which literally was last week. So I basically was just keyword searching. I can't push buttons today. Okay.
AI.
So AI. So they talk a lot. A lot of the management has talked about inflation in the call. So we'll continue to make optimizations. We need to absorb inflation, make sure our brands remain the choice for customers, more clearly limited in their disposable income. So
Mhm.
Pepsi's aware of the problems they're facing.
Oh
They're
yeah,
doing their best. So I
yeah.
just think they have better tools to deal with this time than some of the other companies. But
Right.
I've been part of the. I'm more invested in them than the other ones, obviously.
Mhm,
Here. Number one is obviously the level of commodity inflation, like we talked about. So that's another thing they mentioned during the call. Commodity inflation, not just so inflation's coming from all different wings coming at these companies. Inflation got worse quarter over quarter in the PBNA segment specifically, whereas in the rest of segments the trend is continued easing. That's a good sign.
mhm.
Commodity inflation expectations going next year relative for food. Comments on average inflation. So there's a different people talking.
Mhm.
They talked about volume. So volume is down, but they're dealing with it by raising prices to some degree.
Yeah.
But that only goes so far because they don't
Mhm.
want to offend their customers. So
Yeah.
it's a delicate game for these businesses, right?
Mhm.
How much how much of the inflation burden do you give to the customer? Someone like Caterpillar decided not to last year. Like Caterpillar just absorbed all the increased cost of their business because they felt they could handle it.
Mhm.
Pepsi's pushed some of the costs onto the customers,
Oh yeah.
and they have pricing power. One of the companies
Mhm.
you could say honestly has pricing power
Yeah.
would be Pepsi. I know somebody said to me once, it was so they said, well, if Pepsi gets expensive, people will just go buy non-brand colas because they're there. I'm like,
Ooh.
there's no proof of that.
Ooh.
And that's not true. People will not go buy off-brand.
Yeah.
They will
Yeah.
just
About
consume
that.
less.
Yes. Yeah.
But if someone drinks Pepsi, they will not, if it gets expensive, go to it's been researched enough.
Yeah.
People have a brand. I drink Pepsi. Like I won't come on. I'm not going to Dollar General to buy like some off-brand garbage cola. And I've seen the research. No, Americans don't either. They have a
Yep.
brand and they stick to it.
Yeah.
So that narrative is not true. If you see someone say that, people don't go off-brand. But you can't charge whatever you want. At some point, you're going to squeeze people.
Mhm.
Um, so I think all these companies are dealing with these same problems. So
Oh yeah. It's almost to be expected just because like inflation is so hard to get rid of. Like once it's the genie's out of the bottle in this case, like
mhm.
it's a difficult one for sure. Uh,
Cost of coffee. Yep.
oh yeah, yeah.
Publix has
Oh,
the best cherry cola. Cherry cola. Yeah. I'll put cherry cola. That's a good way to roast a pig or a roast.
yep,
If you're gonna
yeah,
do like a pork shoulder, crock pot it, and you put some
yes,
cherry Pepsi
yes.
or something like that. It's really good.
Crockpot season.
Yeah.
It's practically here. It's
So,
beautiful.
anything else about Staples?
Uh, not from me. But interesting times though right now. And we'll all be interested in keeping eyes on these going forward for
Mhm.
sure. I'd say.
All All right. My computer RAM is thanking me as I close tabs as we talk about it. All right. Oh, look, we're not at an hour yet. I am doing great.
Oh yeah, no, I'd say so. Blazing through.
Blazing through.
Yep. Got efficiency here.
I thought this was okay. This story, I'm sure. Warren, Michael's here, so
Mhm.
I'm sure. No, like this is not being covered in America at all.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is kind of wild that I haven't seen this on the news. So they had this massive carport fire at an airport, Luton Airport fire. It was the entire parking garage erupted into flames, basically. So they said up to 1,900 vehicles were in this car park or port, and it burst into flames. So like the whole thing basically is unsalvageable. The whole infrastructure of it's going to have to be torn down.
Yeah.
So there's this huge fight online, and I've looked at like there's guys like this. There's these conspiracy theorists on YouTube, and they're like trying to decide how did the fire start. So it was there's a photo of a Land Rover with flames coming out of it. And the debate is people are saying it was an electrical vehicle that burst into fire. The officials in the area, the fire officials are saying, no, it was a diesel fire. So it was a diesel Land Rover. And then there's this whole conspiracy online. Like these are like this guy. And then there's this channel. I mean, these are pretty big channels. This is 370K sub guy. And what the media is not telling you. So like, there's all these people that are like, how did this fire start? Here's what I would tell people. So they said like it was a diesel fire. Diesel, do you know what flashpoint is?
Go ahead and read. Yeah, I'll play.
Basically, flashpoint is the temperature that a one of these liquids can catch fire, but the liquid doesn't catch fire. It's the temperature that enough vapor comes from these liquids that mixes with the air, then it's combustible. Because gas and diesel don't actually burn. It's the vapors above it. Yeah. So these are the temperatures where it could catch, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if people realize. So gasoline's flash point is negative 49 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah. And then diesel's flash point, depending on the additives, I think 125 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. It is really hard to burn diesel. So like, you know, like in movies when they puff a cigarette and chuck it.
Oh yeah.
That would not light diesel. You could do that. I think Mythbusters did it. They threw it in diesel. They tried to light diesel a bunch of different ways. Diesel doesn't burn easily. That's a very high flash point. So the idea that a diesel car burst into flames, I'm like, and I was a fuel handler in the Army. That was my enlisted job. I went to school for it actually before I became an officer. So I'm on board with the idea that it was a diesel electric hybrid Land Rover that burst into flames, because then the EV would provide the heat that would catch the diesel fire.
Yeah, no,
if it was one of those type cars.
Yeah, that would.
I'm sure Michael has the.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Do diesel Range Rovers do catch fire? So why would they catch fire?
Pure.
I wonder.
Maybe it is some sort of premium additive, but I'm not sure.
Something must get hot. Some component must get really hot in there, and then
yeah,
maybe their batteries or something.
Yeah,
but diesel's hard to catch fire.
Yeah.
So what are the repercussions? Why does anyone give a shit about this? Right? Who cares? But there's questions now in England, and you could see it online. And this could be a precursor to questions in America and other European countries. They're like, do we have to rethink safety standards of like carports and car garages because of what happened? Because they're like, well, how did this catch fire? So maybe the first vehicle was just diesel, but then were there electric vehicles that then burst into flames and they made this thing just run crazy, this fire?
Yeah.
So I'll show you.
Yeah,
so here's here's a electric bus. So watch how fast.
Ooh.
Boom.
Yep.
So what are we at? 10 seconds. 10 seconds, it's totally engulfed in flames now. So even if a gas company, or even if a gas or diesel vehicle starts the fire, if you have these in a parking garage, look at that.
Yeah, that's
and that's letting off toxic fumes, right?
Yeah.
And those fumes can burst into fire also. Like lithium batteries are really nasty. Look at that.
Yeah. It was sheesh.
This is what we're gonna have to deal with lithium battery vehicles driving around. Look at
That's
that.
yikes.
That is unbelievable. Look, it already caught the building on fire.
Yeah, because it's one thing for one single vehicle to catch fire, but like for a fire to spread though, also it's
Man, you're not making it out of there.
yeah.
You got 10 seconds, less than 10 seconds to get out. It's kind of terrifying, honestly.
Yeah.
So I think I've seen discussions online where they're talking after this carport. They're also like, okay, we need to rethink like car safety. And there's like this report that came out from July, talking about like maybe we need to reconsider parking garages because of electric vehicles. So they had like the executive summary of this report. Let's see. Different changes related to so suppressing a fire involving a battery requires different firefighting techniques and equipment that can take longer and sometimes may not be feasible until the flammable material is burned out. So they don't even have a solid way to put out EV. They recognize here there is not a way to put these vehicles out at this time. Honestly,
That's
the,
rough.
the battery material and smoke produced when involved with a battery fire can be more toxic and contaminate firefighting water runoff. The report they talk about, you're supposed to put up barriers to catch the water, not let it go into the sewers, because the water you use to spray on an EV is toxic now from the lithium batteries. So these are things that they're recommending. We don't do any of this at this point.
Jeez.
So this guidance acknowledges different measures to mitigate an EV fire. From the current standards are to fight gasoline and petroleum product fires for like safety considerations of parking garages. We haven't considered electric vehicles. So,
There's
like spacing, and they even put in here, maybe we need bigger spaces so there's more space between each car, because batteries, when they burst into fire, you saw what happens. It's fast and it's hot. Considerations for ventilation. The batteries put off extremely toxic chemicals when they burn. That black smoke we saw. They also have considerations in here about fire suppression systems, which I don't know if what they're going to do for. You're not going to stop a battery fire. Maybe you can put out the gas or diesel vehicle faster to stop an EV from catching on fire. So, and then they have considerations for charging stations in garages. So, but like, and this is going to come to a head because there's companies that want to build like, because you have multi-use buildings that are like a shops on the bottom floor, restaurant, and then apartments or something. Well, what if they put a parking garage in the basement of your building? Because that's what they do. And then there's charging stations, which means there's going to be electric vehicles in the garage under your building. So this affects all of us basically in society. Like we have to rethink. We possibly need to rethink how we build buildings or fire safety with electric vehicles with lithium batteries. Like none of this hasn't happened in the United States, which is kind of the interest. This hasn't happened. We haven't had like a massive car garage just burst into flames like this. So you got to think, well, it's going to happen at some point. So we've had parking garages collapse in the US already because the weight of, they predict, like you have a 100-year-old parking garage and now you've got EVs on it that weigh, a lot more than a gas car. And there was in New York City, it was like a roof collapsed. But this is a different issue. This is going to happen in the US at some point, that fire. So I don't know what this is going to mean for the US.
Shoot, I don't have enough. I don't have that many like maintainer friends from the Air Force, because for like our big hangars, the fire suppression system, like for most of them, was pretty much like a foam that would chemically like suck out all the oxygen. So like, but that's not an ideal situation for people in the parking garage.
So this is one idea. I haven't seen any ideas about electric vehicles, about how to fight the fire. There is no way to fight a lithium battery fire. You just douse it with water and you hope that you reduce the temperature enough to stop the reaction. There's no chemical retardant for electric fires. It's only for chemical fires. So this was an idea posted in that report, that you would have these tanks I don't know how portable this is. You would have a tank of salt water, and you would pick up the vehicle and you would dunk it in there. I don't know if they're talking about doing this as it's on fire, which is probably not feasible, but they're saying, I think this is more after the fire. The battery, right, is still active battery even after the fire. It still has charge to some degree. So they have to take the remnant of the car and dunk it in this salt bath to try and discharge the battery fully. And then there's not a good way to recycle these batteries, honestly. They're going to start sitting in landfills and junkyards. There's no cost-effective way to recycle some of this stuff. So like there's so many interesting ideas here, far as like how buildings are designed, fire suppression companies. Can they figure out a way to deal with this? There's some angles there's different angles I can see with this investments.
I'm just trying to imagine like the equipment like necessary to pick up or like secure and get the burning vehicle into that salt bath. Like that's going to be like a lot of flex.
Yeah. I mean, that's the first thing I've actually seen that was like honestly an idea.
Yeah.
Everything else I've seen, they're just like, just hose it down with water.
Yeah.
In the US, we're behind. We are so behind on this.
Yeah.
And more EVs come out every year. So you say, oh, this isn't a problem. It's like, well, every year there's more electric vehicles on the road and they're getting older, right? The electric vehicle fleet is newer than the gas fleet in America. That'll change over time. These will come out, these problems. And then this goes into insurance.
Yep. Good old insurance.
So Tesla's now insuring their own vehicles, which I find interesting because no other car producer insures their own vehicles. So this is wild to me. They're saying that they can offer 20 and in some cases 30% less for insurance than other comparable companies, other insurance companies. So it's got me thinking, it's like, how can they charge so much less than the other companies that are insurance companies actually with the expertise in this space? But Tesla's like, oh, we're smart. We have all the internal data. We know what you're doing in the car because we monitor everything. So we can charge you an appropriate insurance rate less. I don't know. A skeptical panda fate. And everything else I see about insurance says that electric vehicles we're getting enough data now. Electric vehicles are more expensive than gas to insure. So like they do comparisons when there's like, especially when there's a gas and electric version, they can do the comparisons directly. It's harder with like Tesla, right? There's no gas powered model. So you can see here's average quotes: electric versus gas insurance by year. Is it really small?
Yeah, there we go.
So you can see there's getting to be a sizable difference, 26% higher. So the average quote for an EV compared to a gas. I mean, they're getting to be sizable differences in the insurance rates for electric vehicles and gas. So I talked to, 2 months ago about, I think this is going to be a problem for the insurance industry. These electric vehicles are going to be a problem. That you can't fix them. You just can't fix them. I mean, who's gonna sign off on a Tesla that it's in a car wreck, and you see a scratch on the battery cell pack? Like, who's gonna sign off and say that it's fine? It's not damaged. Insurance company. If you sign off on it, you're taking the liability now that it is fine.
I have a theory that is actually bullish Tesla, even though I want to strangle myself.
Let's hear it. Go
ahead. All right. So Tesla's able to offer lower insurance prices because they knew they were going to lower the prices on their vehicles. So they're already forward thinking. They already efficiently priced everything. Therefore, bullish Tesla.
Interesting. So their idea, it sounds like they're really going to weigh into, if you're a good driver, we're going to drop your rate. And if you are showing bad tendencies, I guess, because they can say you're hard braking, you're driving it bad, you're driving at all the wrong times of the day, and then they'll jack your rates up. Yeah, but it's like, well, how much of a variance can you have from the high to the low? At some, part of my rate is probably just paying for everyone in general.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I don't know. You have to believe that Tesla has some secret sauce with insurance
Hmm.
that makes them better at pricing these than insurance companies in general. But if
Yes.
they're offering 20-30% rate, less than the Tesla rates at the other insurance companies,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
it's a risk.
agree. I
It's a
agree. I
risk.
agree full on with
Are
you.
they
Like it's
mispricing
silly.
their insurance just so they can sell more cars?
Hmm.
Right? So are they just saying, okay, Elon's like, just put out as many cars. We don't give a crap. Drop, we don't care about margins. So lower the price, lower the price. Oh, insurance is an issue. Okay, we'll do our own insurance. Make it as cheap as we can. What is progressive? Less than that.
Yeah.
There's risks to that.
Oh, for sure. I don't know if people realize that. Like you financialize any business, it becomes very, very fragile
And no
when
other
things go
car
bad.
company, people should know. No, like Ford, GM,
Mhm.
they might say they offer insurance, but it's like a third party arrangement.
Yeah, yeah,
So like if GM or Ford or Toyota ever did insurance branded Toyota or whatever, it would be a third party insurance company that they just contract with,
yeah,
stick their name on. But Tesla's doing this in house though, so they're not doing that. I don't know. Maybe he's a genius. I guess we'll see.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But there goes my jokey joke
But
bullish.
here's a Reuters article: scratch TV battery, your insurer might
Mhm.
have to just junk the whole car. So this is
Uh-oh.
all
You
new. But
know what this means? Bearish O'Reilly and other I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah.
so I thought it was interesting. Okay, so
Yeah.
phew. Okay, last
Yeah.
thing. Now we got
Last
the
thing.
fun times.
Let the good times roll.
Not really that fun times, but
Uh, all right.
okay.
So I
You
don't
sent me this one.
I don't know if everyone's sick and tired about hearing it, but darn it, the memes just write themselves, I swear.
So go ahead.
Oh god. So yeah, what I sent you was basically like an anecdotal case of like where market participants just seem to go wild and go nuts with just the most random things. Uh Nordstrom, like, value trap, I'll leave that for the viewer to decide. But saying that basically weight loss from, Ozempic or GLP-1 and other related, pharma products will magically revive the stock because people will have to buy, better fitting clothes. Yeah, okay. I've behind the scenes, I mentioned this with you was a podcast that I enjoy. One of the hosts talked about how people how analysts think that airlines may be a better buy because if you have less obese passengers, you have less need for fuel costs.
Oh, we got that one too.
Uh,
So
yeah,
so
that
this
just oh god,
this
that
the
just
Ozempic craze has like no boundaries at this point.
yeah.
Everyone the most I mean it's basically a joke at this point. Josh
Yes,
Brown was making fun of it on the compound, which I thought was funny. What
yeah,
like all these analysts are putting out articles talking about Ozempic's effects on all these different businesses.
yeah.
So like some of them are actually, you could like med tech, right?
Okay,
Companies
yeah,
that deal with medical, devices. If there's less diabetes, lower obesity, you would say maybe there's less of a need for devices. Uh,
mm,
Obviously, companies that sell like diabetic insulin products, like the monitoring and stuff, like Dexcom. Of course, yeah, less
yeah,
diabetes. Of course, they're going to get hit, but like some of it just it's gotten out of hand. Like, and that's
yes,
part like the consumer staple. Oh, well, people will eat less sugar, and then the Walmart CEO is like, our grocery sales are going to go down. But it's funny you read some of that; they're already projecting specific drops in sales at the grocery. Some of these grocery companies, it's like their data.
yeah.
They track your shopping more than you would ever think. So it's kind of scary to some degree, but they know
Oh
more
yeah,
about your shopping tendencies than you do at these places.
yep.
So it's kind of scary the fact that they can map that stuff out so detailed, I think, but that's a different conversation. But yeah, so Nordstrom could see, so if you lose weight, you're gonna buy clothes, right?
Yeah, that
You know what? I hate to burst their bubble. I've been really heavy. I bought more clothes when I was really heavy to try and conceal being really heavy. And then when I've been like lighter, I've bought cheaper shit because I don't care anymore. When you're lighter and you look good and you feel good, I'm just like, well, whatever, I can throw a t-shirt on or a $5 polo. So I don't know if they're right about this one.
I agree. I agree. I hope that the viewers not only get a laugh at a hopefully what should be a dying thing as far as like, buzz hype goes,
Dramatic.
but
Clothes no longer fit. And so if they lose a
yeah,
bunch of weight, they have to go buy new clothes.
yeah, like
And Ozempic is the key to Nordstrom recovering. So
like it yeah, I just hope like everybody can appreciate the silliness of what hype can do.
this one, I saw this on CNBC.
Yes.
Oh, and this is another analyst. I don't think airlines actually said this.
Yeah.
The rise of Ozempic could save $80 million a year if every passenger weighed less than, lost 10 pounds.
Yeah.
There we go. Riveting.
It's like
Riveting. First of all, you should never buy airlines, so who cares?
yeah, I agree. I was gonna say like the business model fundamentally is just so awful.
No, we should short Exxon, right? They're going to
Yeah.
be devastated. All their fuel. Who
Yeah.
sells jet fuel? Short them. Oh man,
Yeah.
this Ozempic shit. Like,
Yes.
I agree with Fabio what he said. I think they are going to prescribe it for morbidly obese, diabetics, stuff like that,
Mm,
where like the cost benefit makes sense to spend $1,000 a month for the insurance company if they can get you your weight down, and maybe you go from a diabetes type 2 to not having diabetes. That's a huge savings for them. They can see that cost benefit.
mhm.
So it's about the dollars with an insurance company, but like just being overweight is not a health issue to some degree, right? Like,
Yeah.
well, what else? Okay, you're overweight and what? You have high blood pressure, insulin sensitive. Like you have to have something else for them to,
Yeah.
because like I'm technically overweight. I have no health issues. My brother weighs less than me, but he's got high blood pressure and he's on meds for it.
Mhm.
So just being overweight itself is not necessarily a medical condition. I've seen doctors talk about it just being cosmetic.
Yeah.
So there has to be something else beyond overweight and I think that's what insurance companies are going to do with this.
Yeah. No, I
And
would.
how many people can spend $1,000 a month for these drugs?
Yeah.
Like,
That's fun
you
question.
going to give your boat up for this? I don't know. They're going to run through those high net worth earners, at some point.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
that's. I mean, you think? I'm just hoping that, like, the people that really need it get it, and it works, and like, lifestyles can improve. But I don't know. I don't know if this is like the miracle thing that.
here's what these people like. This is why, like, I actually think going against this Ozempic narrative,
Yeah.
it's not a bad like. If part of this is because of people being scared Hershey's is going to get hit by lower consumption of chocolates, that's part of it makes it interesting just by that, because I think that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like here, I think let's get past the drug. Let's talk about weight loss. Like,
Yeah.
because this is weight loss.
Yeah.
It's not magic, it's weight loss, right? It's just
Mhm.
using a drug to suppress your appetite, but it's a journey of weight loss for somebody. Like here's a study. This is one of the most studied, narratives ever, is like long-term weight loss. Like you can find
Yeah.
tons of papers on this. Here is a study that talks about years after weight loss, how much weight do you gain back? And every year it just ticks up and up and up. It's really hard to lose a lot of weight and maintain that. It's really hard. So someone could I think a lot of people, maybe you save enough money, you get your tax refund, you get like 6 months supply of Ozempic, and you take it, you lose 50 pounds, but then you can't afford it anymore. And then you think you'll just sustain it. Magically, you've just learned all the lessons about sustaining weight loss, right? Even though you've never been able to your whole life. But now you're going to be able to. You haven't changed your mentality. You haven't worked with a nutritionist to talk about food because it's not in your insurance. So it's not covered. So you've done none of the mental stuff involved with losing weight. It's not going to sustain. It's not going to work.
Just pivot to OnlyFans. I believe.
Yeah.
No, that. Yeah.
Here's a let's see. Okay, this was a Harvard medical paper with some research about like weight loss. So the part of this article, what's so special about weight loss maintainers? Because that it's interesting to do when you find research, because there'll be studies where they just find people that lost like 100 pounds 5 years later have maintained it, and then they'll interview them.
Yeah.
You can find these papers. That's the stuff you should focus on.
Mm-hmm.
So you could like other things. Look at it. So trends with maintainers of weight loss, various energy intake reducing behaviors, limiting calorie dense foods and sugary sweets, portion control, consistent eating patterns across the day, increased fruit and vegetable consumption, physically active for at least 1 hour a day, right?
Yep.
So these are habits that they've developed to make weight loss successful.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just about losing the weight. It was about building those mental habits in their day. It's something that I've learned recently myself. I've never been good about maintaining my cardio, like walking and stuff. I'm doing really well with it.
Yeah.
It's a habit I'm learning it for the last like 5-6 months, and I've struggled with that. So no drug is going to do this for you. So for people, maybe this is beyond investing, but like this drug is not going to change your habit. You're going to take it. You're going to get off the drug because you can't afford it or you have side effects, and you never learn the habits of weight loss, and you're going to fail. So this 100 million people on Ozempic, huge weight loss. Yeah. Okay. Good luck.
I agree. I'd say this relates to human capital. Like we're all human. Well, I imagine most of us are human bodies with real living being like bodies, and this is part of what it is to be human right now. So
here's a story about someone that used Ozempic. She had dark thoughts after a few months on Ozempic, but her anxiety worsened and she began to spiral. So it's interesting. Just something she talked about being on Ozempic. Yeah. She's like, once my anxiety ramped up, my appetite dropped. And that's when I started becoming obsessed. I was just nonstop thinking about the food in terms of not eating enough. She said, I'd be so stressed out because I had no appetite and I wasn't eating. It was causing me to get anxiety worse and worse. I started to feel guilty about how little I was eating. Like she hadn't, because like, it's shocking when you start tracking your calories, how much less food you eat.
Yeah.
You think in your head you're eating 2,000 calories a day and you start tracking, you're probably double what you actually mentally think you're eating. And you take this drug, but you're not prepared for how little you're going to eat. Mm-hmm. And it caused her to get in this depressed anxiety mode. She wasn't like mentally prepared for this.
Yeah.
And if you take it outside of your insurance, you don't have anyone to talk to because you don't have access to nutritionists because you could, but you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
What else did she talk about? She would constantly think about how little she was eating. And other people I read that interviewed about Ozempic, they were like, they weren't prepared for how bored they were. That was another thing. They were bored. There was so much time of your day eating food that's gone now. If you're eating like half what you used to eat, there's all this time. I've actually noticed that myself. Like there's just huge chunks of time like I don't eat. And maybe in the past I would be eating. I just didn't even realize, like just thoughtless snacking.
Yeah.
But she was, you build up as you develop those habits. These people aren't building those habits. You just take this drug and it's like, boom, full, full effects mentally. And people will not be able to handle this, I think. So I don't know. I don't think it's a wonder drug. I think there's a way forward for it to be beneficial to people under supervision. They'll develop programs of how to do this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's so early on.
Yep.
And then maybe they'll develop other drugs under doctor supervision. You could take reduced dosages. So there'll be more dosage options for future drugs, not Ozempic, Wegovy. So like it'll be there. But this isn't it yet. So
I don't know. This drug might be able to be what drags Nvidia down. Less appetite, less chips. Let's go.
I guess that was the only other thing. I put it in the title. The Chinese, the restriction on chips.
Yep.
That was interesting. So.
Oh yeah. It's I'm looking forward to, like, if this is a real thing, what the accounting nuances eventually shake out. But that's because I'm a nerd.
I didn't put it in the top. I'm not going to talk about tech because that's not my game. But so they're going to still be able to sell to China, just be modified versions. Same idea as like the military tech we sell.
Yeah.
It's not as good as the stuff we have. So same idea. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as to say this is bearish, the sector.
Yeah, same here.
I'm holding my KLA, even though they're restricted from selling their machines to China.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that concerned about it.
Yeah, I
So,
wouldn't be either.
but I mean, people can go to other. I'm not the YouTuber for that topic. Find someone else. What else we got?
Yeah. Good old comment section.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The anxiety. Yeah. You're going to take Ozempic and then you're going to have to take all these other drugs to deal with the side effects of Ozempic.
Yeah.
A doc mentioned that. Yeah.
It's I also half jokingly made that comment of people have Ozempic and then they'll like to counteract it to try and like bring up their appetite. They'll like take, I don't know, like something based off of marijuana.
Oh my God. I mean, oh yeah. That would be,
Yeah.
marijuana with Ozempic, get the munchies.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Just
What are you doing?
I don't even know anymore.
Kale's like legit. I know people I work with that eat takeout every day for lunch. Like every day. They don't ever bring a pre-made lunch. Every day they go and they order takeout. I mean, you drop like $20, $25 of lunch every day, Monday through Friday. So, and I'm assuming they probably do takeout when they go home for dinner, and then they probably buy ice cream. So yeah, food's crazy. Like when people have no money, first thing I think of is food, and then like their car payment.
Yep.
Usually.
Yep. Tends to be the case.
Yeah.
Speaking of like personal finance, your video for like people like roughly in their 20s, like really good video. As a side note. Happen to enjoy it. I hope if people in the comment section watching give that a try later on when you got time. Big pharma show.
I try like I can only do 30-minute recordings with Clipchamp because I'm not paying for that.
Nah,
so I watch the clock as I'm talking and I'm like, I talk faster, and I'm like, but I don't want to make more than 30-minute videos anyways, so that's fine.
Yeah.
There's so much to cover, like there's so much more you could cover, but it's like, okay, this is like the bare bones for like all the people, and I'm like those videos are going to be for like the people Caleb Hammer, like 90% of Americans don't know crap about finance, don't really want to.
Yeah.
So it's like there's the bare bones there. Like we don't need to do, to me though, those are the two options. Like you don't need to overthink it. Things to buy for life. So like I said, my friends don't, I talk with the SP 500 as they roll their eyes. So this is what you're dealing with, people that don't care about finance. You can't even explain what like the SP 500 is to them.
Oof.
They don't care.
Yeah.
So that's why those people, I just like target date funds are great. Like the everyday person fund, because then you don't have to explain nothing with a target date fund. You just like buy it. I don't have to tell you anything about it. It will be more conservative as you get closer to retirement. Like what else do you need to know? And everybody has those.
Yep.
But I don't do target date funds, and I wouldn't, knowing what I know, because I don't like it's great for everyone, but like I don't like how they have like bonds. I think they have too much bonds too early, and money accounts. Like you have 20 years to go to retirement, and they'll have like 10% bonds in it. I'm like, fuck that. I'll deal with bonds when I'm like 10 years out, but I don't think you need it until much closer to retirement.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and anecdotally, like I've seen some target date funds say bonds, but really they're saying TLT.
Yeah,
and then immediately I'm like,
bonds and like some sort of money market funds or something, and
they
put those in more percentage than you think in those target date funds. Maybe it's the marketing, because they have to show. If they were like 100% equities, then you'd be like, okay, are you really a target date fund? So I think they have to show that transition, right? Because that's in the marketing materials. But so for me, it's not for me. But but for every, it's not right or wrong. It's just
yeah. Like so what, things aren't like maybe necessarily like perfectly efficient or perfectly protected, but
preferred shares. I don't know. Holy God. If I can live that long,
take it. I mean, hopefully you're happy. Happy enough.
I did tell people not to use Robinhood. and I stand by
Yes.
that.
Yep.
I don't
No,
think
I
you
agree.
should. Like you read their finances and their business plan. Like
Mhm.
Robinhood wants you to open that because they offered what was it extra credit for your Roth IRA
Yep.
was like 100. I don't know what
Yep.
it was extra money if you opened a Roth with them. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they want you to trade. That's how they make a
Mhm.
living. Like more than any other brokerage you see.
Yeah.
Like even though Schwab has a lot of option trading and stuff, but
Mhm.
they've got lots of other businesses. Like Robinhood needs you to trade.
Yeah.
And they're going to do everything they can to get you to trade in that Roth IRA. And then every day you have your phone on you and you can at any point. I was like, you should just not have access like that to those your Roth. I don't even have Schwab on my phone. So
No.
like I can't access I don't have Schwab on here. I only have it on my home computer. So people will ask me questions on Discord and I'll be like, I don't know, I'm not home. So I literally can't answer
Yep.
certain times. Our
Yeah.
booty. Yes, there you go. That's
Wait a minute. Is Big Pharma shill kingdom?
I don't think I'll ever do bonds. I mean, historically speaking, like you really don't need to. I mean, cash and bonds have terribly underperformed equity investments.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever will. I'm like, I've talked about this with Strongman. When I get 50, I'll think about it. But I basically have no bond exposure at this point.
Like
So I'll think about it when I hit 50.
outside of counterparty risk, like with the advent of the money market fund, like a respectable one.
Those are cool.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't have one right now
Mhm.
specifically because I just wanted to do an online savings. I'm only giving up like 0.4% interest. But those money market accounts are great.
Yeah.
It's a great option. I like
Yeah.
that more than like a COD, like a certificate of deposit.
Yeah, because then you gotta like thumb through like specific one or bunches. Like, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When do you think Robinhood will let you use your Roth to gamble on? Oh my god,
Robin
they will
Hood.
try it. They
Yeah,
will
they
try.
probably will. They probably will. Yeah.
They're going to do 24-hour trading, and
Yeah.
then you're going to have your Roth there, and every day you're going to log in. They're going to send you confetti and credit. What is it like? Promotion points, whatever they got to do to get you in there to trade or do options. Stonks for the long run.
Yeah. Yeah. My guess is Robinhood and DraftKings Sports will do a JV. Yeah, joint venture, and
I
that's
can't
how it
even
happens.
imagine sports betting in your Roth.
That just yeah.
They're going to have an ETF, and the ETF does sports gambling for you with your funds.
Yeah.
So you just buy the ETF, and then they 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 just gamble for you.
I
Oh,
wanted I wanted to actually like you know how like everybody I've noticed this actually random thing on Disney. Everybody like has their own little spin on like what they want Disney to improve on. I've come around. At first I thought Disney getting into sports gambling with ESPN ultimately is a good thing. And the more and more like I've listened to other people, maybe not such a good idea because I think it was like MGM decided to pull out and that might be a sign that the market's oversaturated. So
I
eh,
I think they missed their boat on it.
yeah, yeah, maybe,
I'm not so
maybe.
concerned having Disney stock because they didn't take the big haircut when they got with Penn Gaming. Penn
Yeah,
Gaming got freaking
yes,
hosed. Not
yeah,
Disney didn't. If it goes south, they're not really. I don't think they have a lot they're going to lose, but
yeah,
they missed their shot. Right? They should have been right at the beginning of the sports betting, and they could have
yeah.
gotten a large chunk of that business. But well, what is it like? It's FanDuel, DraftKings,
Mhm,
Caesars, MGM
mhm.
are like
Yep,
90% of like betting in the US.
yep.
So like I think Barstool, which was Penn Gaming's previous, only got maybe a few percentage points and they weren't in
Mhm.
every state. I think it's just a big loser for them.
Yeah, yeah.
But
That and also like if you look at like sports gambling historically when it was profitable, it seemed like only the mafia really made amazing margins for obvious reasons.
but I know the conflict, right? It's
Yep.
ESPN, it's
Mhm,
Disney, it's the mouse,
mhm.
right? The brand.
Yes.
And they were just like, this is the house of like Walt Disney. We're not some scumbag gambling institution. And that's the problem they have with they can't just make any content like Netflix. It's got
Yeah.
to be Disney content to go on Disney Plus. And that's kind of why they wanted Hulu originally, because then they could do non-Disney stuff and cram it over there.
Yep.
Oh, it's coming up soon, the Hulu deal.
Oh
Do you know
yeah.
about this?
Yeah,
So Comcast or Disney can
Mhm.
trigger the sale of Hulu's remaining Comcast remaining piece of Hulu to Disney.
Ooh.
And that's coming up, I think, at the end of this month.
Oh.
So maybe next live stream propose. Who
Hey,
knows?
there we go. Yeah.
Like at the end of the month. I think it's at the end of this month. Either side can trigger that deal. I hope, I don't know. I'd like Disney to do it.
Wouldn't it be messed up if both of them triggered it at the exact same time somehow?
What would be perfect is if they sold ABC,
Yeah.
took the ABC money, and then bought the share of Hulu.
Yep.
I think that would be a good move.
Spin off, spin everything, all the spin-offs.
I don't want them to spin off ESPN.
I'm joking around.
Like I don't think they need the gambling business. I don't think, if you go look at DraftKings, nobody makes money on gambling.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. They're all losing business. Like they have huge market shares, lots of cash flow, but it's like they don't make money. They have to constantly do promotions.
Yep.
You can switch between all the different apps on your phone. There's no brand. They were all predicated on, we're going to offer huge promotions. So you're going to come to DraftKings and you're going to use DraftKings and get used to it.
Yep.
But it's like, no, that's not what happens. FanDuel will offer credits and you just go over to that. I have all those apps on my phone. It's not hard. So there's no loyalty with those businesses.
This live stream sponsored by Underdog.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's another one too.
Won't die.
Yeah.
I mean, cable TV is going to be around for a long time. Just because it's shrinking doesn't mean it's going to be gone.
No, I agree.
All right. Oh, hour and a half.
Yeah. Yep. Got
Very
all the
good.
value that I could.
Yeah. So, other than
sports
that,
picks. Oh, geez.
Yeah. And all this investment talk, and I still just bought my ETF and Agri Realty this week. So,
hey.
You can talk about investments, but not all of them are good ideas. So,
Yeah.
You look for them.
Mm-hmm.
So the sub play, if there's some sort of shutdown in the government and those companies get their cheek clapped, like they're on my radar. So, but they're at a pretty premium price. So you're not getting like 12, 14, 16 discount on them. 50% racked. Then I'll buy it.
Yeah. Sports pick would be inverse me on any sports bet that I make, because I am.
So my brother and me I do a lot of NFL and basketball gambling. I'm not the person to talk. I do okay with it. I keep it low dollar amount. I don't make bets over like 500's pretty rich. I don't make bets over that. But my brother does like 10 leg parlays. It's freaking nuts.
Jeez.
He does 10 leg parlays and he does like $20, $25. And if he wins it, he gets like $2,000. So and he hits them every once in a while. Yep. He'll go a really rough streak where nothing, and then he'll hit like 2 in a row. So interesting. I don't do that. I'll do like a 3-leg parlay. But yeah, I'm not going to do a sports tell you how to lose your money. I'd rather you bet on sports than use Robinhood for fucking day trading options. There.
Yeah.
100%. You would be better off gambling on sports than using Robinhood for that day trade trash. I bet you'd have a better chance at making money too.
Yeah. Fuhat, we've been over this. So like, I'm gonna give you not only like a mathematical formula, because he's asking about amortization for like debt instruments. Like how there's like an amortization schedule or table for like say a loan to see how much you're paying off in principal and the interest over time. Like he DM'd me this. I told you, Fuhat, like you'll get this within the week. Like I'm dying, and I've been dying with midterms, but like I've got some time. Like
I don't deal with amortization, not with nonprofit grants. They don't have patents or things like that. So
but like I can give you this, Fuhat. Like it's spend enough time in accounting or basic finance.
Bacon's a better accounting person because he's in school for it, right?
I don't know. I don't know about that.
My specific part of auditing,
Yeah.
like general knowledge, kind of, but
Yeah.
I have to look up stuff. I know where to look stuff up. That's the key for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my accounting professors, he let us bring in 1-page sheets to do tests.
Ooh.
She brought in one piece of paper. You could write. You had to write it. He wouldn't let you print it. He said you can write whatever you want on this piece of paper to bring it to your tests. Because he was like this old school CPA. He's like you don't have to know everything. You just have to know where to find it.
Yeah.
Which is true. I have
Mhm.
all my materials at work. I get asked a question from my auditors. I don't. Sometimes I know, but a lot of times I just have stuff on my computer. I know where to look.
Yeah.
So I know where to look, and then then it jogs my memory about like what type of regulation we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like the housing fucking shit. I think we'll
Yeah.
get into that today.
Yeah.
If you're bad at making bets on sports game the way they play it, no one. Very true.
Yeah, he's talking about amortization.
I think sports betting will help you understand options better too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Pretty much the same idea.
Yep.
Options and sports betting.
Yep.
So your premium is similar to like the amount you're putting down, the point spreads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's implied.
Odds, the premium is like the odds on your bet.
Yep.
Implied volatility. The odds change.
Yes. That is a patently false statement. Yeah.
Pooh Hat, you showed me this. I think you showed me some esports company that was public, and the stock was like, was it him or Strongman? It was like an esports team that had the stock, and it just got wrecked. It's probably not even around anymore.
Yeah.
Like, why would you invest in a money losing in?
Yeah, even then, like esports betting. I mean, if you know what you're doing as far as like betting on esports, then okay, maybe you got an edge. But
is that a thing? Betting on esports?
I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't. Yeah,
I stick to football and basketball. That's what I know.
I was gonna say, go with what you know. Hopefully, you have an edge. Be safe out there.
Yeah, what's your edge?
Yeah.
So should I play the outro that got me copyright? No, I'll probably hold that one for now because I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
I've never been through this process.
We'll
play a Paul outro. How about that?
Ooh, that's always fun.
All right. So thanks for joining us on another riveting live stream, and we'll see you next time. All right. Bye.
I am short Nvidia. Do not short Nvidia along with me. It is very risky. I am down a lot of money. I'm okay with it. I am down a lot of money. I'm okay with it. I am down a lot of money. I'm going to tell you something. I've started a position in 3M stock.